show up. Give it a minute. Thank God I muted my screen. Good morning, good morning. I have coffee. Guys, it's an important day. Sort of. A little bit. Actually, the important day felt last weekend when I was not here because I was really tired and my sleep schedule was off. But we're going to pretend that that important day fell today because close enough. It has been exactly 1 year since we got into this betta project. 1 year. As of October 1st. We're going to pretend today's October 1st because I know it's not October 1st, but we're going to pretend. Because I didn't know about it till yesterday when I was checking things. So 1 year ago, not today, but today, we decided to start this betta breeding project, and it is the day we registered our YouTube channel, which took us all of 24 hours to name because we do everything quickly. Good morning, Viola. Yay, morning laundry. That's so much fun. I know the deal. I have so many chores to do today. I have to do jar and tank water changes. I don't like it when they fall on the same day. It's always the worst because it literally takes all day to change water in here. Oh my gosh, I can't believe it has been a year. We haven't had the fish the whole year though because I don't think we got them till like February, maybe? Good morning, Passion for Pets. Oh no, your dryer broke. That is the worst. I know exactly how you feel. In our last house that we lived in, the really god-awful crappy one, my washer broke. It didn't do hot water, which is nice in the winter. And my dryer was also broken and didn't heat up. So for about 5 or 6 years, we did laundry by hand and hung it up outside to dry. So I feel your pain. I know. Believe me, I know. It's the worst. When we moved in this house, I was so happy to get like a washer and a dryer that work, and they're really fancy. And I was like, oh my gosh, I could do clothes whenever I want. I don't have to plan a day ahead because I know it's going to take an entire day to dry them. Oh, you have no idea. Our dishwasher was also broken. So we always also did all of that by hand. It gave me a new respect for people who live not in the modern world because, oh my God. It just took up so much time to do everything, and you have to plan everything so far in advance because you know how long it's going to take to like dry your clothes outside, or in the winter even worse when you had to dry them inside and just find somewhere to hang damp clothes and pray that they dried in 24 hours before they start to like mold. Ugh. No, thank you. I feel for you. I hope you get your dryer fixed soon because that is the worst. Oh, let's see. What was I talking about? Oh, I was talking about it's our 1 year anniversary. Sort of. Kind of. I missed it, but we're going to pretend I didn't. Yeah, it has definitely been an adventure. Because way before any of this started. Way too many, Viola. Way too many. Good morning, Dee. We actually got into the planning phase of this whole project way before we actually got the fish. So we did about 6 months of just research, which is the way you should go into having bettas because there's a lot to learn. But yeah, it's about 6 months of daily research on just everything we could get our hands on. We researched the genetics, we researched the biology of them, we researched everything about their environment, the history of bettas, the nitrogen cycle, how to set up tanks, how to keep plants alive. We researched, the stuff they can go with, all of the snail stuff, live foods and how to culture them. We did so much research. And I'm so glad we did because I think that's really helped set us up for success in this project because I would have lost a lot more fish by now if we hadn't done all of that research. Let's see, I think I haven't counted how many bettas we still have left, but there's a lot. There's a lot. We're getting there. I'm selling them off one by one here and there, and we'll eventually get to it. I just hate that right now it's getting into winter. Last night was the first night it got really cold here. It is now getting down into the 50s at night. And in about a week, it's going to start getting down into the 40s because the desert does not hold heat. We have no vegetation. So it's 80 something during the day and 40 something at night. So shipping's going to be a pain in the butt. It's going to really suck. But I did get my heat packs in yesterday, so I'm prepared. I am prepared for winter shipping. Hopefully. I cannot believe it has been a year. It has been a crazy year. I did kind of want to talk about some of the crazy things we've learned in this year because we have learned a lot. We did a lot. If you guys remember, if anybody has seen our very early videos, not even a year ago, but February, I think is when we started actually posting videos. We started this fish room and there weren't any tubs in here. We had plans for 4 fish tanks. And now we're up to 17 and 150 something babies. We don't have local fish shops here, Dee. Because it's the desert and nobody cares about fish in the desert. It's too hard to get them here. We have a couple of box stores like Petco and PetSmart. And I've heard rumors that there's one freshwater local fish shop somewhere in El Paso. But I've never seen it and I've never been there. One. I've also heard there's one that's saltwater oriented. Again, I don't know where it is either. There's nothing here. And it's far away. It's a 40-minute drive or more to get there. So, I don't count on local fish stores. It's just not a thing here. Everything's so far away. The desert is not conducive to fish. Unless you like tropical fish. Because they do really well here. Because it's always warm. Oh, that means I'm going to have to bring my Daphnia in at night. No, the day has arrived. I need to bring my Daphnia inside. They're going to die. I'm not expecting them to survive the winter. I don't know how they've survived the summer because I literally just have them in a bucket. I don't feed them. I just have a bucket that sits on the porch, and when the water level evaporates far enough, I throw some more old tank water in, so their nitrates are always really high. But it doesn't seem to matter to them. It's kept them alive. But I think part of that is just the sunshine, creating lots of infusoria and green water and algae and stuff, and it's soaking up the nitrates, and once I get it inside, that's not gonna happen. It's gonna die. It's all gonna die. We're gonna try. I'm gonna find somewhere with a window, and I'm gonna set it right in front of the window and be like, this is where you live now until winter is over. Luckily, winter here doesn't last very long. It doesn't get like super, super, super cold till like February. That's when it usually snows. And then like a month later, it's warm again. Agreed, poor bettas. I always feel bad for them every time I go to the fish store. Our box store here, the one that's closest to me, sometimes is really, really good about their bettas. They'll have them and it'll be all clean and there's people on staff who know what they're doing. I've talked to them a couple times. And then some days I'll go in and find like half of the bettas there are the baby ones that I wish they wouldn't sell. And then the other half are dead. I guess it just depends who's on staff and who's doing their job, but it irritates me so much. They're pretty good about keeping the rest of their stuff alive, but not that. Good morning, Koi Benefit Addicts. How are you? How has everybody been doing this last couple weeks? We've been busy. I hate this time of year. I just hate it. I love it, but I hate it. Because right around the end of August until like February is the busiest time of year in this household. I missed you guys too. I was so tired. Because my birthday is at the end of August. September is when school starts. October birthday. And then we get into Thanksgiving and Christmas and New Year's, and then my husband's birthday is the beginning of February. So it goes in very quick succession. We just have a bunch of holidays in this house really quickly, and lots of planning is involved. So fall is always like super, super busy. Your birthday's one day before mine. My birthday is 8/25. Happy birthday, Viola! Yay! Happy birthday, happy birthday. I feel you. I just got old too. I just turned 35. It's not that old, but I feel old. I feel real old. Especially my daughter's birthday is October 27th, about 3 days before Halloween. She's turning 15, you guys. 15! How did that happen? It's nuts. I still remember when she was like 2 and I was like, oh my God, school is forever away. She'll never be 5. 5 is like ages from now. And now she's 15. I don't know what happened. Oh, that's nuts. That's cool though. 26. I only vaguely remember 26. Oh, I hope everybody had lots of fun those last 2 weeks. There's just nothing been happening here. Nothing at all. Everything's alive. I hate doing updates when nothing happens because I'm just like, oh look, this tank is still alive. This tank is still alive. Everybody's doing great. There's no drama. We had like one guppy die. But that's pretty much it. It's just waiting for things to grow up, and they're still cute when they're 60. They're still adorable then. Let's see. What did we learn in this past year? Because there was a lot. I don't know. Bettas they're one of these fish that's very, very complicated. And I'm so glad we did all of our research into it because, oh God, heaven help us if we hadn't. They're not like other fish. And I know it's a big joke in the fish community that, you know, betta people are like nuts about their fish. Because we are. Because bettas are complicated. But like, I don't know, they're just, they're so hard to keep alive compared to other fish. Their breeding is complicated. The whole backstory of bettas and how they're kept is so complicated, and they're one of those fish, kind of like goldfish, where they've just been in the hobby so long and they're so mistreated. And so yeah, we do get a little bit of crazy about our bettas, but like, we have to. Somebody has to. Everybody's talking about their children. I will happily talk about children all day long. I love kids. Oh my god, no kidding. I don't think there's any other fish that requires water changes quite as much as bettas. I did not koi because water lettuce is illegal here, which I said before. And I don't have any space for anything else right now. I have all my tanks full. Someday I'm going to get more room for tanks. My husband came up here yesterday. He doesn't get up to my office very often because it's on the second floor and he has MS. And so it's hard for him to get up the stairs. But he came up here yesterday and he looked around my fish room. He's like, did you get more tanks since the last time I was up here? I was like, no, everything's been up here for a while. And my daughter came and she's like, no, all these tanks have been here for like months, Dad. He's like, huh, I could swear all those were new. And they are. Vaguely. He did know they were up here, but I don't think he'd seen them, and so he forgot about them. I literally just don't have anywhere else to put fish in here. Well, I mean, if I took up the center of the floor, I could, but that would make changing water very difficult. Lots of people are here. Viola's here. You're here. Dee's here. Who else? Now I feel like just scroll up. Passion for Pets is here. I don't know. It's a quiet morning. We're all sipping our coffee. This is my coffee. Let's see. What else did we learn in this year? I learned there is a lot of information on bettas, and if you're going to get into bettas, learn it, research, because there is so much. But on the same token, you kind of have to learn to ignore everything you learn, because it's great to know all the stuff, but bettas are so individual that not all of it will apply. And just based on water parameters alone, not all of it will apply. And so different things are going to work for like different people. So I think you should do a lot of research into bettas, and you should learn as much as you can, and, you know, learn different opinions and all that stuff. But you also have to know when to like throw it out and be like, I'm going to ignore this. Like with mine, I know a lot of people say, you know, change water on your bettas every single day when they're babies because hormones. But the thing is, no one has actually proven the hormones exist. If you ask anybody, what hormones are these? Nobody can answer you. And I tend to be in the pool of belief that yes, it's really great to do water changes and keep your water for your babies clean. But at the same time, you don't want to do it so often that you stress your babies out. So like with all of mine, I only change water once a week on my babies. They still grow. They do just fine. But a lot of people will be like, no, you can't do that. They won't grow if you do that. I don't have that problem. I will say one thing I have learned about the betta community is there are some people who take this hobby way too seriously. And I'm saying that as someone who did 6 months of research and like built an entire fish room in less than a year. There are some people who take the hobby too seriously. There's it drags people through the mud. There is one group on Facebook that is betta related. I'm not going to say what group it is. But they are so fanatical that I almost hate posting there. Because every time I do just an innocent post saying, oh, look at my baby fishies. They're 4 weeks old. They're 6 weeks old. They're this week's old. And I post pictures, I immediately get a bunch of people who are like, no, they're not the age you said they were. I'm like, well, yes, they are. I have documentation. Like, what do you mean they're not the age I say they are? Like, well, your fish can't be that big. I'm like, okay, no, they can. This is normal as far as I'm concerned. But, oh my God, there's always people who have to question everything. I made a lot of betta breeders very uncomfortable online. Because I guess it's not normal for them to grow as fast as my babies grow, which I didn't know until they were growing that size. And there's a bunch of people who just, they don't believe me. They're like, no, I need to see pictures with your fish next to a ruler, and I want to see your logs, and I want to see this, and I want to see this. And I'm like, I don't have to prove anything to you. I don't really care. There's videos, go watch videos. Like, why? What is the point of that? Why do people feel the need to question and just automatically assume because you're doing something and it's working when it doesn't work for everyone else suddenly means that you're wrong? I don't know. Betta people. I'm saying that as a better person, but betta people. I can't believe you have snow already, Dee. I'm so jealous. We don't see snow here very often. I hope it snows this year. That would be really cool. Because this is our first year in this house and I really want it to snow. It snowed last year for 2 minutes the day we were moving into this house. Agreed. Passion. Seriously. Like, I get it. Especially in, like, the betta community, we're all a little judgy. And we don't mean to be. But I think everyone's a little judgy. And I think that's just part of raising bettas, in a sense. Because bettas are so mistreated in the hobby. And everybody who gets involved with, like, raising rabbits or raising fish or raising any animal, we want the best for them because we love animals. Anybody who raises these things, it's because we love animals. So when you're talking about a live thing and people get really defensive because they want everything to be the best, but sometimes they also think that everything they do is the best and anybody not doing that, they're just wrong. I know, I should get out of the Facebook groups. Seriously, they are so toxic. Not always. I am in a group of just female aquarists, and it's very chill. Everyone there is very nice and supportive, and there's not a lot of judginess. But the betta groups, man. The betta groups are so judgy. And they even judge each other, which is even funnier. If you join like a newbie betta group, most of the information they give you is going to be wrong in some sense because they're new, but it happens. And then if you go to one of the more experienced betta groups, like, what is it called? Betta Breeders United. That's the one who hates me so much. If you go there, they constantly complain about the newbie groups. Like, oh, they don't know what they're doing. Like, come on, guys. We all love fish. Just, spread good information and don't judge. It's too much judgment. But I'm pretty lackadaisical. I can let it roll right off me, so I'm usually like, oh, okay, that's what you think? That's fine. And then they get mad that I don't engage. I just don't like arguing. People are nuts, Passion. They're nuts. Well, like with my Betta's growing too fast thing. Betta Brutish United it's a chapter of the IBC. They take it way too seriously. Way too seriously. And like at least 2 of the mods there like almost stalk my posts. Every time I post about my baby fish, and I'm like, it's 4 weeks old, here's a picture. They're the ones that are always like, where's your documentation? Show me your fish next to a ruler. And so I'll take a picture and show it to them. And the next post I make, will be like, no, it can't be that age. Show me a post with a ruler. Because they don't believe that my fish grow as fast as they do. I don't know. I've asked them that. I was like, what does it matter to you? I'm like, I don't have to prove my fish are growing as fast as I say they are. I'm like, there's video on my YouTube channel if you want to watch it from like the day they were born to 4 weeks old to prove that's the size they are. Go ahead. But they're just like, no, they can't grow that fast. I think it's a thing where I'm a newbie fish keeper. I mean, I've been at this less than a year. And they have some breeders who've been there doing this for like 30 years. And they can't get their fish to grow as fast as mine. So they're like, no, she's lying. And I'm just like, well. But I did finally find somebody else whose fish grow as fast as mine do. And we figured out that it was the hardness level of the water, believe it or not. Everybody who chimed in and was like, hey, my fish are also that size at this age, we all figured out that the hardness of our water was at 7.2 or above. Something about the hard water makes them grow faster. We're not sure why. I don't know. But it seems to work. I mean, oh, I know they don't believe me about that either, Passion. I was like, yeah, I've had 2 spawns and I've only had this many fish lost from the spawns and only 2 of them were natural causes. That's literally my record right now. I have had 2 spawns of, let's see, the first one was 26 fish. The second one was 128? No. I don't know, something in there. And out of both spawns, I've lost several fish. Most of them were culls, though. I've only lost 2 to natural deaths. And they're like, no, that's not possible. Why is your survival rate so high? I'm like, I don't know. I got lucky. Sometimes fish don't die. I mean, I must be doing something right. I must have done my research. But they get so angry about it. They're like, well, I've been breeding for 30 years and I lose like half my spawn every time. I'm like, I'm sorry. I don't know why it happens. Yeah, I'm on Amino too. That's where I first met you, Koi. Let's see. That was smart, Passion. That's why I always say you should always do your research and learn everything you can, but like, be ready to throw it all out and be ready to ignore other people. Because they may be well-intentioned, but like, there has to be a limit to how much you listen to. Because you can't listen to every opinion. You're going to stress yourself out because there's a gazillion opinions. And all of them could be right and all of them could be wrong. Because it depends on the individual animal and the individual keeper and their individual circumstances. Hey, not Nola Jane Rich. How are you? Good morning. We're just talking about fish and bunnies and stuff like that. How annoying betta groups on Facebook are. Yeah, I learned to ignore a lot of things. Mostly about water changes and stocking. And tank sizes. I could say so many things about betta tank sizes. Because, you know, the hard and fast rule they'll spout in the groups is 2.5 gallons is your minimum for betta fish. And I will go in those groups and people will argue with me and I will say, no, that's not the answer I would give. The answer is not 2.5. Because the reason people say 2.5 is they assume you can't cycle anything lower than 2.5. That's the whole reason the 2.5 exists for bettas. 2.5 gallons per betta because you can't cycle anything smaller. But like, that's not a good enough reason. The answer I always give people is you can keep a betta in any size container provided you are willing and able to do the maintenance for that container. If you're someone who can't do daily maintenance on a tank, put your betta in a bigger tank. If you have all the time in the world to do water changes and you want to keep them in a cup, go for it. But, you know, you have to be willing to do the maintenance to keep that water quality up. Every single betta, every single domesticated betta splendens has lived in a cup. Every single one. Because at some point in their life, they had to be separated from their baby group. And believe me, they lived in a cup. It's fine. It is mean. But that's how we have to raise betta fish. Because they're so aggressive, they have to be separated. And it's fine as long as you are willing to do the maintenance to keep them there. You have to do daily water changes or every other day water changes, depending on your water, to make sure that it stays healthy for them. And you have to watch them very closely to make sure they're not getting fin rot or anything. You have to watch them for stress. You have to watch them for other things. And if they're not doing good in that environment, you take them out and you put them in another environment. But it's fine as long as you are willing to do that. Now, if I had to pick a size for bettas, though, I would say 5 gallons. Because having had mine in smaller containers and having had them in these 5-gallon tubs, 5 gallons is a good size. It's plenty of space for them to move around. It's enough space to have hides and plants and things for them to sit on and not have to do daily water changes. Strangely enough, I've heard from a lot of betta keepers that they want to keep them in bigger tanks, but they get stressed out. And I think you can keep them in bigger tanks, but you have to have a lot of cover because bettas do not like open space. I don't. I noticed as soon as we put the plastic plants in with Rem, our little blue fish over there, her stress stripes went away. When there was no plants in there, she was constantly stressed. And it's just because she wanted somewhere to hide. And Seiron, poor Seiron, our little whitefish, his life would be miserable without his plants. Because he is our one fish that constantly has to be in something. He wants to lay on something, he wants to hide in a tunnel. He's our only one that does it. But he loves his hides more than life. They do. They need something interesting to look at. Bettas get bored, is what I've noticed. They super get bored. When we put guppies in with our bettas for a period of time, they were so much happier just because they had something to look at and chase. And you'll notice I don't do something else around my fish room. Some people have noticed it, not very many. I don't card my bettas. I know that's a no-no. Everybody's like, no, they'll stress out. They won't flare at each other appropriately. I don't card any of my bettas. None of them. The ones in the jars aren't card. The ones in the tanks aren't card. They do fine. None of them have gotten stressed out. None of them have gotten sick. We haven't had a single one get sick. They have just learned that when they want something interesting to look at, they'll go stare at their neighbor and, you know, flare up at them for a while, and then they get bored and they move on. And I can still get them to flare on command just fine. I don't know, they just have a built-in ability to be like, okay, I'm stressed, I'm done, I'm leaving. So I don't worry about it. I did it first. We used to card all of our bettas because I was like, oh my god, I don't want them to get stressed. But it doesn't actually seem to matter. So I just don't bother anymore. Some betta keepers are going to be like, no. But, meh. Yay. My bettas all love guppies. When we put the guppies in with the bettas in the 5 gallons, the first little bit, they went psychotic. For like 24 hours, all of the bettas were chasing the guppies. But after that, they just kind of calmed down and they left the guppies alone, and the guppies left the bettas alone. And Kumori, our little black betta, thinks that she is a guppy. Every time I get a cull guppy now, one that has like a crooked spine or something that's too big to feed to the other guppies, I throw it in with Kumori because she likes to have them as friends. She follows them around in schools with them like she thinks she is a guppy. It's so cute. She killed the last one though. We threw in a guppy that we found that had a bent back that went in like a V. And it lived in there for about 4 days. And then we found it all bloody and beat up. So Kumori did her job. Ugh, agreed. Guppies are so voracious, they never stop eating. I had to learn to feed the guppies first on one side of the tank, and then train the betta to go to the other side of the tank and drop their food right in front of them so that they would get a chance to eat before the guppies noticed they were fed. Because guppies will eat anything and everything as quickly as humanly possible, and they never are not hungry. I had to learn to stop myself from continually feeding my guppies because they always look like they're hungry, and the second you go to their tank, they run over because they're like, ooh, food! We love food. They never stop. I have so many guppies. So many. We're working on it. Our snakeskin guppies, though, are so pretty. So pretty. We got our black and blue guppies to breed into our snakeskin line. So now we have some snakeskin guppies that are metallic blue and snakeskin. They're so pretty. I love them. We have about 3 of them right now, and they're my favorite. I hope more pop up. We're still waiting for our little lyre tail to breed. We have one lyre tail guppy at some point. Oh my god, that is so cute, Nola Jane. That is hilarious. Ponyo, our red koi there in that top tank. When we first got her and we put plants into her tank, she went nuts. She murdered the plants. We put some anacaris in there and she like tore them to bits. And then we carry around the sticks, the little stems of anacaris in her mouth like a dog with like a stick. It was hilarious. She'd just carry it around like, this is my prize. And then she'd drop it and she'd go get another one and carry it around. I will show you at some point if I can bother. We have right now some, well, all of ours are mixed fancy guppies, but we have one tank that is a mix of, what are they called? Sunset guppies and some red striped guppies and some highly metallic, like metal sided guppies, and we've bred them all together. So we just have a mix of yellow, orange, and red guppies with highly metallic sides. Those are cool. And then we have a bin that is nothing but cobra snakeskin guppies in various colors. So it's got like, we have yellow, we have blue, we have red, we have orange, we have green, various spotted ones. They're cool. And then we have a tank of what we consider half black guppies. There's some that are panda. There are some that are half black with yellow tails. We have some that are half black with blue metallic delta tails. And we just kind of let them all mix and just see what we come out with. They're not any particular strains. We let them breed and see what pops up. And then we sell them off as just mixed fancy guppies. I really like our cobras though. They're so pretty. I need to show them at some point because when you get them out of the water, they are so bright and so beautiful. And it's been a while since I've taken them out of the tank to show anybody because all of our tanks are like top-down ponds for the guppies. Let's see what's going on in chat. Oh yeah, we've trained all of our fish to feeding time. We always feed them in basically the same spot, but the bettas have learned that if I hover over their tank like this, that is where they need to go to get food, and they will run over there from wherever they are. And then the guppies, they all swarm at the front of their tank. I try to spread the food around, but they're just voracious little guys. And our guppies will eat anything. I have the hardest time feeding all of our mystery snails because the guppies swarm the snello. They love any of the food that we give our snails. Ooh, mystery snail questions. What is your tank temperature? Because they're a lot less active in colder water. I usually keep mine somewhere between 80 and 84. But also keep in mind that mystery snails are nocturnal. So they do most of their movement late at night and not when you're like watching. Unless you throw food in there. If you throw food in and they still ignore it, they're probably like actually hibernating. Agreed with D, definitely. The colder the water is, the less active they are. The only time I would be concerned is if you have one that is continually floating at the top of the tank. Now, they do float at the top of the tank quite often just for fun. They do things like that. But if you have one that's continually floating at the top of the tank for like days on end and never seems to go anywhere else, then I would be concerned that they're getting close to the end of their lifespan. Because I have noticed that with my own mystery snails, that I'll see one that like continually floats at the top, and after about 5 or 6 days, they'll die. And sometimes that just happens. As long as they still retreat back into their shell, they're probably fine. It's when they don't retreat that you get a little concerned. It may be that they're just waiting for the food to taste yummier. I threw in some watermelon with my snails the other day because we had watermelon and it was delicious. Yum yum. But I cut up the rinds and froze them, and we threw a couple of the rinds into all of our mystery snail tanks. And the first 2 days, they wouldn't touch it. Would not touch it. And then about day 2, the watermelon rinds began to break down because, you know, it gets sitting in the water, it gets old, it starts to die. And then they were suddenly like, oh, dead vegetation? Where is this glorious food? And by day 4, the rinds wouldn't even float in the water anymore because they had so many snails on them pinning them down, and they just ate it completely to the other end. It was just gone. Ram's horns are so cute. I love them. I love them so much. Hello, new sub. Cool. Welcome to our live stream. We have no topics on Saturday mornings. This is just a let's hang out and have coffee and just let the conversation go wherever it goes. You are always welcome to join. We just basically hang out and we talk. Sometimes we talk about completely unrelated things to fish, and sometimes we talk about fish. But we go off topic quite a lot. Like right now we're talking about snails. Yeah, if they continue to act weird, let me know. Good morning, Vinoxki. How are you? I haven't seen any of his live streams, maybe. Today is a special day, you guys. You guys missed all the excitement. It is 1 year since we got into this betta breeding thing. 1 year! I can't believe it. It's nuts. Things have changed so much in 1 year. So much. I've learned blah, 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 blah. Words. I ran out of coffee. I feel like I've learned a lot in this year. And hopefully this next year I will get to do more breeding. I need to get rid of my betta fish first. I have too many of them. Way too many. Somebody buy some fish. Oh, I'm getting so nervous about shipping in winter. I don't trust winter. It doesn't get that cold here, but it gets cold everywhere else, and I'm scared. But, I want to get rid of all these baby fish so I can get some more. Because I have so many good fish I want to breed. But I have so many baby fish. So many. I need to do an update video on our juvenile fish in the jars. Because some of them, you guys, have gotten so pretty. I think the last video I did of them, they were just starting to marble, kind of coyish. Oddly enough, we have not had any more gain any red spots, but a lot more of them have turned black and white marble. And we have a couple of really cool, like, misfit ones. We have another one that has the ocular deformity of the columboma. I can't say that word today. Words. So it's got an ocular defect, which is really cool. We have one that is gorgeous. It is a black and white marble. The first half of it is all white, and then it gets very black speckled, and then its tail is just a huge spot of steel blue. Don't know how it happened, but I like it. He's so pretty. And we still have that one little tiny female that is powder blue. She's the only one. Everybody else is steel blue. There's some that are very, very black with dark steel blue. There are some that are like just steel blue. And then we have her, and she is powder blue. She is lighter blue than my cup. I don't know why, but she's so pretty. I really can't wait for her to gain some size because she is the runt of our litter of fish. She's only like this big, but she's so pretty. Some of our females have gotten really nice. They've really colored up. We have a couple of really nice steel blue females. They're just gorgeous. Not too many of the males have remained steel blue. Most of them have marbled. But we do have some. I know I need to update pics. I mean, I could take my camera over there and show you guys, but I don't know how well you're going to be able to see with this thing. I really want to show you my fish. We only have a couple minutes. We could go on a field trip if I can get this unhooked. Cord. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. We're gonna go on a trip to the next room. Emo's out here. Let me see. Open my camera. There's Emo sleeping on the floor. Emo. He can't hear me. Why do I call his name? Hi, baby. Hi, good boy. Okay, let's see. Where are some pretty fish? We have some really pretty ones. Here is one of our steel blue males. He is gigantic. So pretty. We have a lot of these black and white marbles. A lot of the cellophane ones have started to get their black spots. Lots of cellophanes. Lots of cellophanes. Here's one of our steel blue marbles. I love these guys. They're so weird looking. So many random colors in him. Let's see. Where did I hide my females? Well, let's see. Here's one of our steel females. If she will come where I can see her and this label isn't in the way. She's very black with some blue. Ah, so pretty. We have one in here somewhere that has almost turned, if I can find him. He's in one of the green cups. He is a white dragon / white butterfly with just 2 spots of black on his tail. He's a really pretty fish. Someone take him home. Let's see. Where are some of our other really pretty ones? I have to remember where everybody is in their cups. This is one of our steel males. He is a butterfly. He's got a bit of a spoon face, but I won't hold it against him. This guy is almost black. He's so dark. If he will come up here, he's like, nope, I don't want him. You can't see me. He is a rose tail, but his fins have those dark edges. Now I have two cats. They hate each other. Don't let them fool you. Hey, Buff. Buff. Buffy. She's ignored me. Over here, let's see. Where is she? Looking. Oh, here's the one. He has a blue tail, but he's a black and white marble. He's so pretty. I need to change their water today. Let me throw him in another container so we can see his colors. I know, buddy. Not how you want to spend your morning. He has such a pretty, weird looking fish. He's starting to get red in his anal fin. But he's just got a blue tail. But he's a black and white marble with steel blue. He's cool. I like him. We have some really weird ones. But yeah, we have fish down there. We have fish up there. And then we have all of those fish. So many fish and some cats. Huh, Emo? Back to the office. I don't know if you guys heard that. My daughter said hello. Here's our gups. So many guppies. 1 tank. 2 tanks, 3 tanks. These are our snake skins, if they will settle down. They're like, no. You can start to see some of them have their spots. None of the females do, but they're pretty cool. I love snakeskin guppies. Sorry for disturbing you, guppies. And then we have our 4th tank of guppies. And these are all the babies that are just kind of growing out still and don't have their full colors yet. You can see some mystery snails hanging out in here. Some of our mystery snails have turned out absolutely huge. And they have really nice color. It's one of our magentas. Somewhere in here. Oh, let's see if I can grab some more. There's a magenta and a blue. These are our babies. These aren't our adults. So they're getting to be a nice size. We have one blue one in here that is absolutely massive. I wish I knew where he was so I could show him to you guys. He's so big you would not believe. It's absolutely crazy. Let's stick you guys back on my desk where you guys belong. So yeah, we have a lot of fish. A lot of fish. And now my arm is wet and covered in duckweed. How they develop their shells. I'm not sure where their growth plate is. I need to research that. I haven't researched my snails as much as I have betta fish. Yes, they can. As far as I've been able to figure out, snail-wise, they're kind of like cats. Their clutches can come from several different males. So you could have a white mystery snail give birth to 4 or 5 different colors. And like mine, when I originally started, I had ivory, blue, purple, jade, and some golds. And then they bred out magenta. So now I have magentas. And they bred out some that are gold with stripes. I didn't even know that was a thing. So now I have 2 new colors, which I am hopefully going to get to breed so that I will have some more and I can sell them. Because they're so pretty. I love mystery snails. They're so good. I just absolutely love them. And they're so much hardier than some of my other snails. So yeah, there's no telling what colors you'll get out of the ones you have. If and when they breed. Just because you have like 2 blue ones doesn't necessarily mean all the babies are going to be blue. They could be any color. It just depends on their genetics. Now, if you had line-bred blue snails successfully for a long period of time, then yes, all of their babies are going to come out one specific color. I do sell my guppies and my snails. I sell guppies at 50 cents a piece, and I sell my mystery snails at $1 a piece and $15 shipping, just like everything else I sell. And all my bettas are $10, and I also have ram's horn snails for 50 cents a piece. I have pink leopard, blue, and blue leopard ram's horns, I think. Still. Maybe. Pretty sure. Yes, you do need a male and female with mystery snails. They're not hermaphroditic. So you have to have specific genders to get them to breed. And even then they might not breed. It takes a while. Because you have to wait till they are at least quarter sized. But even then they have to have like the right parameters in their tank, and they must feel like they're getting enough food, and then they'll breed. I'm still waiting for this group to breed. For a while there, I was getting egg clutches literally every single day from one female, and my female died. So I've been waiting for all of her babies to grow up so I can get them to breed, but it's taking forever. Oh, cool. I love pink ram's horns. Pink ram's horns are so cute. They're my favorite color. I don't know why. I think they're so pretty. Not as pretty as you think. The pink leopards, because of the way their shell is, they have the very, very pink body, and when they're very little, you can see the pink through the shell like any of the other ram's horns. And you can see the spots, and they're really cool. But as they get older, their shell starts to get darker, and so then they start to look like they're brown leopards, but they still have the very pink body. So they don't end up being as pretty as you expect. I like the plain pink ones better because their shell stays mostly clear throughout their life, and so they show up very, very pink. Yeah, ram's horns are cool. I like ram's horns. Right now in this fish room we have ram's horns, mysteries, and we still have bladder snails from our original bladder snail Gary, who eventually did die. But we have a gazillion of his progeny all over our fish room. They have taken over. I just use them as a food source. When I find them in a tank they're not supposed to be, I crush them up and the fish love to eat them. I do not have either of those things. I've looked into getting other kinds of snails, but I haven't found any I think are cute. I know somebody who sells spotted rabbit snails, but I just don't think they're cute. So I haven't gotten any yet. I don't know. I'm particular to mysteries. I really like mystery snails. I would love to get a huge one like Dee has. Oh, her Peruvian snail. I love that thing so bad. It's so huge and cool. Ram's horns are considered pest snails by a lot of standards. It's because they breed so prolifically, but I love them. I think they're pretty, and I don't care that they're considered a pest. Same thing with bladder snails. Like, yes, they're pest snails because they breed a lot, but like they're still helpful. They're not bad for your aquarium. My cat just arrived. Emo is here. Emo Ted, come here. He's my old man. It is almost his birthday. He will be 16 years old. And he is deaf, just like me. I don't think I've ever told you guys that. Weird story, but I am not quite fully deaf, but close enough to count. I am considered severely hard of hearing, which is probably why I talk really loud in videos. You guys may notice sometimes I talk really loud. Same, I don't consider them pests. I love snails. They're so cute. So cute and squishy. But I do think I like mystery snails more than the other types. They're less easy to squish. Ram's horns have such delicate little shells. Like, even bladder snails tend to have harder shells than ram's horns do. Ram's horns are really delicate. So especially when they're like little babies, if you try to pick one up, you can just feel their shell cracking under your fingers, and I hate it. I hate it so much. I'm always afraid I'm gonna hurt them, but it's usually just like the very edge of their shell snipping off. They're just so delicate. But they're so pretty. Agreed. Snails are great for your tank. They promote infusoria. They break down the waste and plant matter and food to something infusoria can grow off of. They're great. I have not seen bumblebee snails. I'm going to look them up after this because I need more types of snails. I love snails. Good morning, Heather. We should have ended like 8 minutes ago, but we're having fun and we're just hanging out and talking about snails, so it'll end when it ends. I mean, it'll probably be soon, but I'm not in a hurry. I have nothing else to do. Well, no, that's a lie. I do have other things to do today. I have so many water changes, you guys. You mean narite snails? Nitrite snails aren't a thing. I don't like rabbit snails. I've seen pictures of them because there's some people on Facebook that sell them. But I just don't like them. I don't know. I don't think they're cute. Same, Heather, same. It's one of those days where all of my tank and jar water changes fall on the same day, and I hate it. I absolutely hate it. It's because I do jars every other day, and I do tanks on Wednesdays and Saturdays. And so some days I don't have any water changes. Some days I have one or the other, and then every once in a while there'll be a day like today where they both fall on the same day, and it's just a lot of work. But I have not yet missed a water change. I am always on time. It's just a pain in the butt. hate water changes, but I feel like I have to do a lot of them. All of my tanks are like really overstocked. So I have to do water changes quite frequently. I do 50% water changes twice a week on all of my tanks. And then 100% water changes every other day on the jars. And if I did not overstock my tank, I probably wouldn't have to do it quite so often, but I love my fish. Yes, do your water changes more often. They're good for your fish. Your fishies will be happy. I have to do mine. I have tested mine pretty regularly for a while. And I have to do 50% water changes twice a week or the nitrates get out of hand. Even with like all the plants and the snails and everything else, it's just, I have too many guppies is the problem. I actually don't know how many guppies I have. I know it's in the hundreds. I'm pretty sure it's in the hundreds for each of the tanks. And I have them in 2 30-gallons and 2 10-gallon tanks. And there's hundreds in each one. So I absolutely have to do water changes as often as I do them. I try very hard not have to do them more than twice a week though. Just one of those things when you get into fish keeping, you sign up for it. It's like even when I complain, I tell everybody, yeah, I complained about my water changes, but I also signed up for it. I knew I was going to have to do these when I started it, so I suck it up and I do them on time. Guys, I think we're winding down. It's the end of our 1-year celebration. There is a way, I can't remember what it is, you can look up who has subbed to you, but everybody who is on YouTube has the choice to make their subs anonymous. So if you check out your sub list, it won't tell you who some of them are. They have the right to hide that information. So you can only vaguely know who is up to you and who is not. I want cake. Now I want cake. I'm gonna have cake soon. It's almost my daughter's birthday. She wants us to make her a giant ice cream sandwich. It's going to be like brownies and then Oreo ice cream and then brownies. And it's going to be delicious and I'm gonna die because I am allergic to chocolate and also lactose intolerant. But is that going to stop me? No. I can't remember where the list is. I know there's a way to look it up, but I couldn't tell you how. YouTube, all of their settings are like really complicated and in weird places, and they keep changing their format, so you can never find anything. This is why I don't have gravel. I don't have substrate in any of my tanks, Passion, because I don't want to have to gravel vacuum. That just seems like more effort than it's worth. And none of my fish or my snails care, so I just have bare bottom tanks. Makes it really easy to see when the tank is filthy because you will literally just see the layer of filth. But most of the time I ignore it. I have learned to change the water and leave the filth because that filth promotes the infusoria and it helps retain the nutrients for the plants that are in the tank, and the fish like to sift through it and look for particles. So it's probably really toxic to have in there, but I leave it. And the tanks that I do that on seem to do better than tanks that I constantly clean them and I keep them like really super clean. So I just let them. I noticed that first with my babies. If I don't siphon out the bottom of the tank, if I just leave the filth and change the water, they grow faster. So I just leave it in all of my tanks. And my healthiest tanks are the ones that have filth on the bottom. I'm absolutely convinced that there's microorganisms in there that are just great for the tank. So, you know, if that creates more nitrates, I'll just do more water changes. Same. I usually siphon out a lot of the filth on water change days, except I can't do that in my mystery snail tanks. I have a habit of accidentally sucking up the snails, and I don't like doing that. So as soon as I get the tank water down for the water change, I go back in with a turkey baster and siphon out what I can get, but I leave a lot of it in there. I only siphon it out when it gets really, really bad. So like every 2 to 3 weeks, I'll go in and I'll take out most of it and let it accumulate again. But definitely the tanks I leave it in do better than the tanks I get it all out. They have clearer water. The snail shells do better. The fish don't get sick. The plants do better. So I leave it. Turkey basters, you should have 1 million of them. I started with 1 and I went back and bought 2 more. Because you will always use a turkey baster in your fish room. They're so helpful. Those and children's oral syringes. I use them for dropping all of my medications. So useful. Always have more than 1. Because you will just use them all the time. Nets too, you can never have enough nets. I cheat with my nets. I have 2 brine shrimp nets that I don't use basically. I have 1 regular green fish net that I also basically don't ever use unless I'm catching Daphne in my bucket outside. But all of my other nets I use in here. Let me see if I can find one. Where is it? Do I have one? I know I have one somewhere. I just have to remember where I put it. There's one. This is a cheap plastic strainer from Walmart. Best nets ever. They're wide mouth. This is a tiny one, but they get like this. Wide mouth, shallow. The plastic is very soft, doesn't rip fins. Makes it so much easier to catch fish. I have a huge one that's like this big, and I can just scoop it through the guppy tank and pull out hundreds of guppies, and they don't get like tangled in the net, and I don't have to worry about their fins getting like ripped off or something. Plastic strainers are good. I wouldn't use a metal one, but these plastic ones are awesome. I also use them in my bug cultures to sift out the bugs. And they come in a multitude of sizes. I love those things. I got them because I didn't have enough nets, and I was like, oh, I need one of these to like sift out my bug cultures, and then I found out they work really well for fish. Yes! And the bigger ones you can rest on a bucket. The medium sized one I have fits perfectly over a deli cup. They're great. I use them for changing water in my guppy tanks because my guppies, there's so many guppies in there that when I siphon out the water, they tend to like go through the pipe, and that's not good. So I will take like a 1-gallon jug and grab some water, pour it through the strainer, dump the fish back in the tank. I got mine at Walmart, but they're like super cheap. and they are a great tool for your fish room. What else is useful in fish rooms? Containers. Have a million deli cups. Even if you don't use them for what you think you're going to use them for, I find I use deli cups for everything. I use them to change water. I use them to temporarily hold fish. I use them for dosing medication. I use them for bug cultures. I use them for like a million things. Deli cups, man, just buy a couple hundred of them and just have them around your fish room, because you can never have enough plastic containers in your fish room. And buckets, you should always have a million buckets. I have 5, and it's not enough. I feel like I need at least 2 more. Because those are just things you're going to use like all the time. Hose, definitely. I have this stuff. 1/2-inch vinyl braided hosing. This stuff is great. I got like a huge one of these, a huge coil of it, and I cut it into different sizes, and I use them as siphons for my tanks. I have one that's really long for the deep tanks and one that's really short for the smaller tanks, and it just makes my life easy. It's crazy what you find you need in fish rooms. What else do I have in here that's unusual and useful? A little tiny stool. I have a little tiny plastic children's stool that is just the right height that you can stick a bucket on it and empty the bucket into a fish tank. Because I have a lot of my tanks up on the floor, so sometimes you just need something to get a bucket higher than your tank. Good morning, Petzotics. It is our 1-year anniversary of fish keeping. So we're hanging out. This live stream's going way too long, but we're just chatting, learning things, talking about stuff. Buffy. Yeah, you don't belong in a fish tank. My cat. Every single fish tank. But only her favorites are very specific ones. And it drives me crazy, because I can always tell which ones it is, because at the end of the week when I do water changes, those tanks have less water in them than every other tank. She leaves the fish alone though. They all leave the fish alone. They like to drink the water. My one cat, Emotep, has gotten so picky about his water in his old age that he will no longer drink out of the cat bowls. He will only drink fish water. And not any fish water. It can't be out of a fish tank. And it can't be fish water that has been put in a bowl. It has to be fish water in a 5-gallon orange bucket. Specifically. And it has to be the dirty water, not the clean water. He will find it and he will cry and cry and cry until he figures out nobody's going to give it to him, and then he will try to get in the bucket. My daughter does help me sometimes with the jar water changes. She'll like retrieve jars for me. But no, I do all my water changes myself because my daughter is a noodle and she can't lift a 5-gallon bucket of water. Good morning, MTA. It is our 1-year anniversary of getting into this project. So we're celebrating and talking about random things that make no sense. We don't stay on topic here. There's no topic. We just hang out and drink coffee, and I'm out of coffee, so words are failing. It's too early in the morning, guys. Why did I start doing this at 9 o'clock in the morning? I'm not a morning person. Well, no, that's a lie. I am a morning person. I don't want to be a morning person. This is me procrastinating, not doing water changes. Thank you. I can't believe it's been a year. It's been nuts. We've accomplished a lot, though. I mean, we went from having this room completely empty at the beginning of the year to now having 17 tanks in here and 150 something baby bettas. It's nuts. I need more coffee. Give me coffee. Hi, Buff. Come here. You guys want to see a cat? Come here, Buff. She says, I am not a camera cat. I don't like being picked up. Hi. What's up? You want to say hi? This is Buffy. Yeah, you're a good girl. You're a good girl. What are you doing? You want to say hi? She says, no, put me down. Put me down. Buffy is our adopted cat. She actually used to belong to my best friend. And they had 6 cats. And she was in the military. And they decided they needed to downsize after she went to Afghanistan for like a year. And so they're like, will you please take my cat? And I was like, yes, I will take your cat. Had never seen her before. Did not know this cat, did not know which cat she was bringing me. She's like, will you take one of my cats? And I said, sure, bring me your cat. Because we already had 2. And so she brought us that big old fluffy one. And she became our cat. And she is a 13.5-pound Turkish fan. She does not like being picked up. She doesn't like to sit on people's laps. But she's very friendly and she loves pets. And she will talk to you nonstop. Aww. Cats are very particular. My cat Emo doesn't like being picked up either. I've had him for 16 years. And there are a few things he doesn't like. One of them is boxes. He hates boxes. He's the only cat I've ever known that doesn't like boxes. He doesn't like being picked up, but he will cuddle with you. It only took him 14 years to decide he liked being cuddled. He was a shelter cat we picked up at the Humane Society. And he was asleep in his litter box when we found him. And my husband said, oh, look at this cute cat. And I said, no, I don't want him. He's brown. Don't like brown cats. And my husband's like, well, I'll get you another cat if you take this one home. I was like, okay. So we took him home. And on the way home, he chewed his way out of the cardboard box they had put him in. Bit into my hand. Blood everywhere. And like just went crazy. And we thought, oh my God, what have we done? We just brought home a psycho cat. But as soon as he was out of the box, since then, he has not gotten back in a box. He does not like boxes at all. Cardboard, he will chew it to death. He hates it. And he hated shoes when we got him. If you put your shoes on, he would not go near you. It took 2 years for us to be able to walk into the room with him without him flinching. It took 7 years before we were able to reach out a hand and pet him without him flinching. It took 14 years before he would sit on your lap or cuddle. He is now 16 years old. And he is the snuggliest cat that has ever lived. But it was a very long, slow process. Up until a year ago, he would get growly at my daughter anytime she even looked at him. Wouldn't go anywhere near her. And we've had him longer than we've had my daughter, and she's turning 15. So like her entire life, that cat hated her. And then about a year ago, I was like, you know what? Feed him all of his meals. This is your new job. Get him his food, get him his water, feed him. He will like you. And now he would rather sit with her than me. He's still my fuzzy baby, but now he loves her more. Cats, man. Cats are crazy. And then we have a third one named Bella, who is psychotic. She's a little devil. That cat. She was a stray that someone brought to us, and she was starving to death. She was feral. And we've now had her 10 years, and she's still psycho. She loves to be cuddled, but only when she wants to be cuddled. Which means she wants to sit on your lap, but don't you dare touch her. She will bite you. She bites everyone. And she will stalk my daughter. She'll like slink up the stairs to her and like come running around a corner and attack. But then she'll sleep with my daughter because it's my daughter's cat. She's just nuts. We tell the other cats they're good girls and boys, but Bella's a demon. She's really pretty though, and she's very friendly. She just wants to gnaw on you. I love animals. They're so cute. You guys, it is 10:31. 10:31. That means we're half an hour over our time limit. Aww. I love cats. I love dogs. I love all animals, but I'm allergic to most of them, sadly. Which I didn't know until too late. I had already had my cat for 13 years when I found out I was allergic to cats. And my allergist was like, oh, well, you're severely allergic to cats. You need to carry an EpiPen and not be around them. If you touch them, wash your hands. Don't go anywhere near them if you can avoid it. And I said, I've had my cat for 13 years. He is older than my allergies. I'm not getting rid of him. So I still have him, and he sleeps next to my face. I just have to be really, really careful. One of these days he's going to kill me. But he's too cute. I can't not. I'm also allergic to dogs and feathers, which I didn't know was a thing, but apparently is. Yep. Some things you just have to suffer through. I could be allergic to every animal on earth and I would still hang out with them. Because some things are worth it. Other things are not. But pets are one of the things that are. I just love them. They're so cute and adorable. Okay, you guys, it is 10:32. I'm sure you guys have other things to do today. I have to go do water changes. Save me. But I hope you guys all had fun. Have a nice morning. Drink your coffee. I'm sure there's other live streams today. I don't know who, but go visit them. If you have a live stream today, post a link. Go visit them. Maybe if I have time today, I'll show up somebody's. Bread! Oh, I love homemade bread. I went on this kick a couple of years ago where for an entire summer we made all of our food from scratch for an entire summer, which included bread. So I learned to bake a lot. It's so good. It was nice seeing all of you guys. I hope you have a good Saturday. Go visit Dee's live stream in the morning tomorrow. I'll be there. I'm there every week. I don't know who else has streams, but feel free to leave a link. I'm okay with advertising. Just throw links up and go visit them. See you guys next weekend.